Welcome to Generosity Experience Live. On today's episode, how can we better understand donor motivation? Featuring Anna Van Cleef, Director of Product Management at Neon One. And featuring Julia Campbell, founder and principal of J. Campbell Social Marketing. And now, here's your host, Tim Sarrantonio.
Welcome to February's episode of Generosity Experience Live, a live stream show where we look at the ways that nonprofiteers like you can get savvier about the ways that technology can better connect you with your community of generosity. I'm your host, Tim Sarrantonio, Director of Corporate Brand at Neon One. No matter when or where you watch our show, you'll love the engaging and valuable conversation to come. If you're watching live with us today, please jump in the comments and share your thoughts with us throughout the show. We have a different giveaway for each episode. Today, one lucky live viewer is going to win a free VIP all access pass to the 2024 Nonprofit Marketing Summit coming up on March 5th through 7th. This is a near $500 value, so let's get it. In just a few minutes, we're going to be joined live by our special guests, Anna Van Cleef and Julia Campbell. But first, it's time for the big number. 18%. That's the number I've been worried about for some time now. It represents the percentage of people who've given to a nonprofit for the first time and then give again the next year. That means that only 2 out of 10 donors who gave to you last year are likely to give to you again. For this month's episode, I'm going to be talking about motivation, and specifically, I want to look at the role that motivation has in addressing that 18% number that I'm sharing. It hasn't improved since the Fundraising Effectiveness Project started tracking it a few years ago, and trust me, I'm supposed to know that information. So let's get focused on motivation with the most important question you can ask yourself. Why do people give to your organization? And let's actually take a moment here to let you answer. We'd love to see your answers in the comments. So let's, maybe, see what people are doing. Why do people give to your organization? So I know we have people from Beverly, Massachusetts. Hello, Katie. We have folks from Arlington, Massachusetts, LinkedIn user. We got Brianna, Atlanta, Georgia. Obviously, we have Julia as well. So why do people give to your organization? We'd love to hear this because this is getting to the crux of what I want to get into in detail today. So let's give it a little bit more time just to see. Welcome to the delay that LinkedIn has too. But Michael McDonough, thank you, Michael, for joining us also. Shared values in terms of Catholicism. Love that. That's kind of a person's narrative right there. To support the Atlanta parrot community, saving lives and education. And I want to get into that a little bit more, Brianna, in terms of like the deeper understanding there. Caitlin says to support domestic violence survivors and their children to begin new lives away from violence. Okay, these are awesome. And so let's break it down a bit to help tie those together, since that's actually a very complicated question to answer. One of the top experts on the subject of philanthropic psychology is the Institute for Sustainable Philanthropy, and they outline 3 primary motivational categories for generosity that the things that you folks shared fall into. First, situational giving. And this is influenced by current events, social trends, and the immediate circumstances of the person giving. These are folks who are motivated by a sense of urgency or relevance of the situation to their immediate circumstances. Then there's relational motivation, and this is driven by personal connections, trust, and engagement with the nonprofit organization itself. Personalization assists here, since it builds relevancy in a person's life around the cause that your nonprofit is focused on. And then there's the strongest type of motivation, identity-based motivation. And this is where giving is seen as a reflection of the person's values and perception of who they are as a person. This is definitely the strongest bond that a nonprofit can develop since it transcends circumstances and staff turnover. And several of the causes that were even shared here definitely lend themselves to this type of motivation. And most folks, as donors, consider themselves to be good people. This means that in a given situation, if they are offered the opportunity to make a difference in something, they're going to step up and do it. Yet, have you ever seen a donor reply to one of your emails and say, I don't know why I'm on your email list? If you're like me, the first instinct is to go to the database and see what the history is. And you may very well see that they have donated to your nonprofit already. But remember, people's brains are unreliable and they can only remember so much information at one time. So instead of being annoyed that they don't remember giving your nonprofit $100 last year during your 90s themed gala, start to understand who they are as a person and how they found out about your organization in the first place. Now, the answer here is not more technology. This is critical to understand the future of our sector if we hope to have one within 50 years. The human brain does not react the same way to giving as buying something online. Now, one of my favorite videos on this subject is from Next After about the spark line of a donation. And it outlines that when someone makes a donation versus buying something online, the reactions are different. If I order Domino's pizza, I'm staring at that tracker and I'm getting excited about the pizza getting delivered. The happiness is about the object, the pizza, not the action, the ordering. The opposite is true when I give to a nonprofit organization. People are coming to a nonprofit's donation page already motivated. That means if I make a donation, I'm happiest when I make that gift. The action itself is what makes me happy. And my brain, as a donor, can actually have an identity forming memory if that experience is magical. And that's what's so great about the nonprofit sector. We have the possibility to make amazing things happen in our communities every single day. And this is a global movement as well, with over 10 million nonprofits and non governmental organizations worldwide in operation today. So, how can you begin to develop a strategy that is smart with goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely? I think the answer is deeply connected to understanding motivation. And a great way to organize your engagement is by focusing on motivational archetypes. Now, the quick and dirty definition of an archetype is that it's a symbol, a setting, or a character that has universal meaning. As my colleague Abby Jarvis recently told me, there's a Cinderella type character in every culture. The motivations of donors also have universal archetypes that are specific to our sector. I actually ran a live coaching workshop on donor motivational archetypes on Monday and outlined 5 types to at least start with. They are motivations that appeal to a person's self interest, someone's social status, personal narratives like the faith that we grew up with, the inherent draw of the places we live in, or the causes that we believe have global consequences. Now, understanding that your work is something deeply human and universal is what connection is all about. Unfortunately, there's a lot of obstacles that we as a sector has thrown up against fundraisers to stop them from being able to actually connect with people in an authentic way. I truly believe that one of the biggest things holding back our sector is the scarcity mindset that forces people to do too many things with too little money. And this has led fundraisers like you feeling too afraid or tired or cynical to be allowed to dream, to truly fall in love with the work itself, and to feel that experimentation will be rewarded, not punished, to be creative and excited and refreshed and unafraid, to feel safe and included and seen. And most of all, to feel that you can love yourself because of the work that you do and who it allows you to be. Now, I know that this can sound silly or naive, and some days it certainly seems impossible. However, I truly believe that if people like me can give you the right tools and support folks like you who need them most, then it can begin to make a difference in that donor retention rate and to start to turn things around for good. Now, technology absolutely has a role to play in all of this. I've personally witnessed the power of bringing people together through technology like this. And I have so many friends because of social media, and I'm connected to all of you because of the power of technology. That's why I'm excited to do more in person things this year, such as host a party at AFP Icon in Toronto with my friend and guest today, Julia Campbell. We also love collaborating to put on things like the Nonprofit Social Media Summit, and we're already hard at work this year. So I'm excited to speak with her and talk more about that. Yet, no one has helped reignite my passion for nonprofit technology more than Anna Van Cleef. While I've been in the nonprofit sector since 2008, I didn't start working in nonprofit technology till November 2011. NEON actually stands for Nonprofit Enterprise Operations Network. It's an acronym, folks. And that came from the original founders of the company that created the CRM. That was called Z2 Systems, located right in Chicago, Illinois. But the journey of Neon One has been a long and sometimes painful, but utterly transformative and rewarding one for me. And there's always highs and lows in any job. But one of the lovely things about my time at Neon One right now is that there are way more highs than lows. We have amazing investments like Neon One Academy, like what we heard about last month with Dr. Tony. We have Generosity Exchange in October. But most importantly is that we have monthly product releases that improve the foundation of everything that we do. And a lot of that comes alive because of Anna Van Cleef. So I cannot wait for y'all to meet and hear from from her and what we have coming up next month in particular. It's a big one. Now, it's time to stop focusing on bad news, and it's time to start building the world we want to live in. And if you're like me, the time has passed for others to do it for us. We're going to need to do it ourselves. So that's why I'm excited about this month's show. We have two amazing guests and a hell of a giveaway this month. So let's get into it.
Mark your calendars now for upcoming episodes of Generosity Experience Live. Episode 3 will be streamed on Thursday, March 28th. Episode 4 will be streamed on Thursday, April 25th. Watch past episodes of the show on our Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn channels at Neon One Tech.
Hi, Anna. How are you?
Hello, Tim. Wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good today. So we're trying to. Chris is keeping us on a tight ship. Our producer's keeping us on a tight ship. So tell us a little bit about you and your journey to Neon One before we get into it today.
Yeah, for sure. So my personal journey in life is to change people's lives for the better. And so before joining Neon One, I was a product manager for a technology solutions provider for heavy industry. So oil, gas, mining, all of those types of things. And for me, I wanted a way to contribute to the world and the good that folks like y'all are doing. And more than a way of me volunteering or donating. And so having an opportunity to join Neon One in June of 2022 allowed me to do that at scale with the skill sets that I have and that I had built. So in 2022, I took initial ownership of Neon CRM, Neon CCM, and our portal or our login kind of process. And then in 2023, I became the director of our core products, which extended that to fundraising, giving days, arts people, and our website's product as well.
Very cool. So, one of the main things you do oversee is the CRM itself. As someone who came from outside of the sector, but does understand the importance of a connected strategy. What some of the things that you learned that were a bit maybe surprising that nonprofits struggle with, and things that maybe are very similar to any other job when it comes to technology?
Yeah. So, at Neon One, we actually engage a strategic advisory council that looks across the nonprofit sector. And it's more than just product insights, right? It's really strategic concepts. And the members of the council stressed that authentic relationships are so important and can be almost pushed aside with the whole AI or automation for everything. And we can start to lose our authentic selves in that process just because we're trying to get all of the things done. And so one of the things that Dr. Tony said last time was, she would, if she waved the magic wand, would give people time back. But as you mentioned earlier in the session today, memory is a human resource that is very limited. And so one of the things that I think was most interesting was kind of this demand for so much on so few resources and the continued push to do that. So if you're limited in your resources, the Dunbar number, you may or may not have heard of it, says that a person can only have 150 connections at a time. Now, this isn't like my deepest friends connections, it's top level connections. So I'm pretty sure that all of your nonprofits are looking at more than 150 connections you're trying to manage and understand and know who these people are. And so I also realized that resources don't allow you to say for every 150 constituents, here's a human to help you manage it. And so I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that relationships matter. And in other organizations or for-profit industry, sure, relationships matter. You have partners, you have customers, you have internal team members. But for nonprofits, your resources are often looked at not in the same way that a for-profit would be looked at, right? You're being asked, where's that dollar going? And are you sure you're using it for your mission, right? And so all of these things around pressures are limiting your ability in some cases to apply more and more connections or to get more and more connections. So here's my point. When we leverage technology, you're able to enhance your ability to take those 150 people that you can engage with and extend that beyond just the 150. But go ahead.
Well, and I think that's kind of even connecting to what Dan was asking in terms of different motivations, right? Dan, and I almost think we could take your question, maybe Chris, if we want to put Dan's initial question back up on the board.
Yeah.
Dan Drucker, where we assume the three types of giving, different approaches, different types of messaging. And Julia, maybe we could get into this if you're seeing that, because she's already started engaging that. We could talk about maybe the messaging and the positioning and the way that you talk to people. That's what Julia's here for. But Anna, what about the data? Because that's the part that a lot of people freak out about, because they're like, I'm not good at this. I can talk to somebody. I founded the nonprofit, right? You hear that all the time.
Right.
But they're like, but I'm not a technology person. I'm not this. So how can anybody feel that they could be a data rock star if they're approaching these things in the right way?
Yeah. Data, it's about the strategy that you're trying to realize, right? So if you're just like, I have 15,000 pieces of data, but you don't know what you're trying to answer. You don't know the questions you're trying to address. Ultimately, the data might not mean anything, and it doesn't become insights, and it doesn't become information. So what I would say is to become that data rock star, if you're like, data is scary, or I have some, I just don't know what to do with it, is to say, what is it that you're wanting to answer? And then identify the data that would help you answer that question, and then begin the process of either identifying if you have it or start collecting it. And then you can kind of drive that into the insights, and tools, technology can help you to do that, whether it's a CRM like Neon One's CRM or something else to help you take all of these pieces of information, summarize them into a meaningful way to help you answer the big question of, I did something. Did that ultimately drive to an increase in engagement, or did it decrease? When I asked for this type of engagement, not even money, right? Just, I want you to be invited to this event. What was the engagement? What was the response? What if you changed some of the language, the positioning? Would that be better? Think A/B testing.
So, because we know that the vast majority of organizations out there are struggling with 3 to 5 different data sources to manage the stuff that we're talking about,
Yeah.
how can companies like ours help zero in on that? Because we've done things like, a nice welcome series for new donors, but
Mhm.
what's the next evolution? Let's talk about something that's really cool in March to kind of whet people's appetite, to take the data that's happening in the background, folks, and start to really recontextualize. Okay, but who loves me, who is connected to me, and
Mm.
in ways that go away from prioritizing affluence
Mhm.
and look at more important things. And so I know Chris is going to keep us tight on time,
Yep.
but let's get into it. What's coming in March that we're excited about for folks on this very question?
Yeah. So we're really excited about something called the generosity indicator. And the generosity indicator, as Tim mentioned, is really driving kind of a donor engagement, but it's not just about donors. It's about the person as a whole, their entire generosity. Generosity being the money that they give, the time that they contribute to your organization, the talents that they have. So volunteering, events, in kind, all these things, right? And being able to say, are they connected to not just me, but to my cause?
Hmm.
We're able to leverage not just our CRM and not just the insights that we're able to get for your organization, but look at our entire ecosystem as a whole
Hmm.
and say, what does this donor, this person, this constituent, what do they look like? What is their generosity? Are they giving to other nonprofits like yours? Are they doing it frequently, recently? Are they monetary? How big is it? But we wanted to do this in a fair and equitable way. And so what that means to us is, some nonprofits might receive $100 donation as their biggest, or $1,000 donation, but some might get $1 million. So how would we define that? Well, we're using quartile analysis to make it fair for each of these nonprofits. And every single nonprofit gets its own score for every person. So no, we're not going to give anything away. We're not going to tell you who they were donating to and what
Hmm.
other nonprofits it was. But what we're really excited about is around being able to see who is giving to your cause and start rethinking the term of what a major donor means. Major donors can stop necessarily just meaning who can give the most, but it can be who is the most connected and has the most deep rooted alignment to your cause and to your organization. And who knows, they might be the ones that help you with your planned giving.
I mean, this is the beauty of it, and I know there's so much more to come on this, and we're going to
Yep.
bring Julia on to kind of look at motivation in a few different ways. But um, yep. Up. Okay. So, oh yeah, it's coming up. Okay, there we go. We put it up on the screen. So I was like, oh, is the hook here? No. So, what's really cool that we're going to get into is the power of our ecosystem. There's billions of dollars of transactions, lots and lots of people, and so we have an idea of what somebody's doing. So if I, as Tim Sarrantonio, have donated to another arts organization, that could start to influence my overall perception of that person, like in my database. So it looks at affinity. It doesn't just append a bunch of wealth data that has nothing to do with the context for that person being in your system, right? There's definitely utility to those things, but we need to start with affinity and relevance and engagement
Yes.
and recency. And that's why I'm so excited about this. So, folks, if you're like, what are they talking about? We just flashed the webinar. This is one you're not going to want to miss. So, there we go again. But Anna, any final words before we kind of shuffle off here today for at least your part?
No, I just really appreciate the fact that you all are doing this, and I'm really excited to hear what Julia is going to say.
Very cool. Thank you, Anna, for joining us.
Bye,
We'll
everybody.
see you next time. Anna's always in our product release webinars. She's helping steward things through. So we're very, very excited for, things to come. And let's go ahead and see Julia next.
One viewer watching today's episode live will win a VIP all-access ticket to the 2024 Nonprofit Marketing Summit to be held March 5th through 7th. Your VIP pass gets you all the notes and recordings from this 3-day high-impact virtual event, with access to more than 75 sessions from the best and brightest in the industry. Enter to win by offering the comment of the day. A winner will be announced at the end of the show.
So we like bringing our inside
Hello.
Hi. And then there's our outside expert, and Julia. It was only a matter of time. I mean, you were like one of the first people that I was excited to
I know. How do I follow Anna, though? That was awesome.
That was great. We're pretty excited about some of the stuff, and I know that you and I have chatted about what that could mean for how people think about just the broader understanding of generosity. But we've already had some great questions because you and I are going to help choose the comment of the day. By the way, first of all, if people don't know who you are for some reason, who's Julia Campbell, and why should we be excited to hear your insights into motivation?
Well, really quickly, I'm a former development and marketing director, worked at nonprofits for years, and now I have a consultancy where I help nonprofits gain clarity and confidence around digital fundraising and marketing.
So you have a lot of experience talking with folks and also really getting into the emotional resonance. That's what I love about kind of your approach, is that it is very human forward and person forward, and not like lean into your authentic self. Like, no, it's just like, no, like people are people and we're messy and we have to accept that. And, there's certain things though that you and I have talked about this in various ways about, like, also the hype machine of digital. And what actually, from your perspective, has changed in donor motivation? What is actually happening when it comes to the motivations of donors that isn't getting obscured by technologists or trendsetters or people who are just even trying to have an agenda on it? Like, what's actually happening from your point of view?
Well, donors are getting younger. So we have to understand that right now, fundraisers are talking to and communicating with 5 distinct generations of donors. So Pew Internet defines the generations. If you go to pewresearch.org, they're my go-to research on everything in terms of demographics and technology and social media. So we have to be dealing with the silent generation, the baby boomers, Gen X, who are often forgotten. Everyone forgets about Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z, and then, of course, Alpha, so maybe 6 generations. We need to understand that the way we're communicating, especially in the digital realm, needs to be different. And what motivates Gen Z donors is not the same as what motivates baby boomers. Now, of course, I'm generalizing because you can't say everyone in the baby boomer generation is the same. But if you're talking about like my parents' generation, for example, my father has given to his alma mater for years and years and years and years. And he was a Vietnam veteran. So he's giving to veterans organizations. And my mom, she gives to hospitals and she gives to organizations that are well established, right? And they have this sort of cachet and they have these big names and they have a big brand. But with younger generations, they're not as concerned about that. They don't care that you've been in the community 60 years. In fact, they might trust you less. They might think, well, if you've been around for 60 years, does my $10 really make a difference? Yeah. So we have to think about it generationally, and we have to think about the messaging that we're conveying. Is it really conveying that emotional response? Like, are we showcasing our impact, or are we just sort of talking about how great we are as an organization?
And again, I think this goes back to Dan Drucker's
Yes.
original question of like, how do we contextualize these? Because some of the things that you mentioned, veterans, for instance, that's not a situational gift. That is who I'm a veteran.
That is part of your identity.
That
That
is who
baked into
I
your
am.
identity. Right.
Same with Michael, Catholicism, right?
Yep. Yep.
And also some of these things, the identities could play into a rejection of those things too, depending on the circumstances that they've been
Oh,
in, or
absolutely.
maybe the situation that they're experiencing at that time. It's so fluid. That's why
Yeah.
Dan, it's hard. It's hard.
But if
And
you get that donor
yeah,
where your organization is part of their identity, that is gold. That is where you're going to get the recurring gift. That's where you're going to get the major gift. That's where you're going to get the planned gift. So that's not every donor. We shouldn't strive to say every donor needs to like put our, bumper sticker on their car.
yeah,
That is that those donors are the ones that are going to spread the word and spread the gospel about you, and they're going to be the most loyal. So
yes.
we should be thinking in our communications, how can we create that level of creating that shared identity, or saying, this is for me, this is who I am, this is part of what I believe, I'm going to share this on social media, I'm going to share this with my friends because I believe it's integral to like my values.
So, given the expertise that you have, what is the role of social media here? At least in what should be the role. Let's rephrase that, because we know some of the negatives as well. So let's focus on what a positive role that social media can be in understanding
Right.
motivational behavior.
Well, there are a couple of things that I'll say. One is that social media is really changing in that when it started out, even 10 years ago, it was really about social networking. It was about finding your community. It was about connecting with people you know. Now it's a lot about discoverability. It's about looking at things that, like, finding things like TikTok. You're not connecting with your friends. I mean, you sort of are, but you're looking for things that you've never heard of. It's introducing you to new things. Same with Instagram. So now it's an entirely different animal than it was. However, there are still really tight-knit niche communities all over social media. There is a community that I just found out about because my friend has a three-legged cat, with like people that love three-legged cats, and they post pictures of their three-legged cats.
I had a three-legged cat.
Where were you, Tim? This is your community.
Well,
oh my gosh, you missed
keep
it.
going. I know. I mean, if I'm going to be kind of creepy about it, the cat's ashes are right over there. But like,
But
that's
a community.
Oh
and
yeah,
there
I miss
are
my
these
buddy.
very strong, tight-knit communities. So there's the possibility for your organization to tap into this passion that people have for whatever it is that you're doing, and for whatever it is that you stand for. And the key here is just to really be listening and looking and thinking and talking to donors, and also interacting with, I hate the word influencer. We need another word. Creator. Talking to people that have the attention of that community that you want to participate in, and making collaborations with them and partnering with them, but coming at it from an authentic perspective. What I see happen on social media is we still, in 2024, look at it as a billboard. We still think we're entitled to attention. We still think that we can post something and all of our fans are going to see it. We still think we are just, we just deserve recognition when we post a reel. Social media didn't and never did and doesn't owe us anything. Like, we have to earn this attention. We have to earn the right to people's attention. And we have to provide that value add in their life. I really think that social media, especially now in an election year and as divisive as things are, really can be a positive force. But we have to be on the right side of history here. We have to be on the right side of social media. We can't give in to the trolls and the hate and the unethical nature and the misinformation. We have to go all in on what we believe and what we stand for. And we have to be even stronger. We have to have even a louder voice about the good things that we do. And that's not something the nonprofit sector does really well. Like, we want to put our heads down and we want to do our work. Most of the people I've worked with that are executive directors come from social work background. They're not They never wanted to be an executive director.
Yeah.
They just
How did
wanted
you
to
how did
be a
you
social
end up
worker.
how did you end up on the island of misfit toys is always the way that I phrase it. Is like,
Every single interview I do on Nonprofit Nation, I always say, how did you end up in the nonprofit sector? I would say 99% of people say accidentally, or I
Yep.
was doing this, or I was passionate about this, and then now all of a sudden I'm a development director. That's what happens. And we have to start looking at it as we are valuable. Like you said before in the big number, we need to be seen, and the message we have is valuable. And I don't care what your mission is. You might say, oh, well, there's a war in Ukraine, there's a war in Gaza, there's so much going on. There was a mass shooting yesterday, whatever. You might be thinking like your message is not worth it. Your message is absolutely worth getting out there, and your donors want to hear it. And I think that's the most important point that I can make. Your donors, your supporters want to hear from you. You're not annoying them. You're not bothering them. They want to hear from you, but they want to hear those genuine stories and the genuine impact you're making.
So let's transition into some final questions here. The first is with so much focus on digital, what might we be missing when it comes to community building, right? Like
automating everything.
Not every parent caretaker to Brianna's community is going to be knowing things are on. I missed the three-legged cat stuff, right? So what are we missing that in the cracks that we could start to address with different strategies there?
We're not spending enough time listening. We are going in on Monday morning, frantically saying, what do we have to post, going to our newsletter and pulling out some link, and then just throwing it up and posting it and then not returning. Like, we're looking at social media like a billboard. We still are. We've always done this. And this is what nonprofits do exceptionally poorly is we're not answering questions. We're not answering comments. We're not going on other pages like your community foundation or people you partner with and lifting them up and amplifying their voice.
Yeah.
We're not really looking and listening and understanding what our donors want. We're also not measuring and looking at the data. And I know, Tim, you're big on data. I'm so big on data. That is the number one, or that's one of the 4 trends that Hootsuite found in their nonprofit social media trends report that was going to be super, super on point this year and important for nonprofit communicators. So Hootsuite found that one of the 4 main trends was going to be measurement and analysis. Let's not throw spaghetti at the wall. Let's actually look at what we're posting and where we are and see, oh, this content is performing. This content's not performing. Our audience likes this. They don't like that. And that's a huge reason why I'm a big fan of digital marketing, because we get that feedback, that real-time feedback. You send out an annual report, you get feedback in the way of donations. No one's going to ever call you and say, I love that annual report. Maybe they might. I hope they would. But if you post something on Instagram, you're getting instant feedback, likes, views, comments, shares. You're getting instant feedback. So look at that feedback and how can you iterate and improve? And we need to do a better job of that.
So we can talk forever. We almost always do.
We do.
And we have a few things planned together, though, that let's tell the folks here joining us. What are 2 fun things that we're working on? What's happening first in April 8th specifically?
Yes. We have an incredibly fun networking and bingo and learning event. We're going to be at the big AFP International Conference in Toronto. And we
put in the comments if you're going to be there. Put in the comments
if you're going to be AFP icon in Toronto. And what Tim and I are planning is this really interactive experience where we're going to talk about the monthly giving report that Neon One is releasing. And then we also want it to be, really interactive networking, but networking sort of with a purpose. So we're hoping that a lot of you can be there with us. And comment in the comments if you're going to be there.
And what about the road to November?
The road to November.
And so not the election. Not the election.
Oh no. My gosh.
November 13th?
November 13th. 13th, 14th, potentially 15th if we can do another day. We're going to do the Nonprofit Social Media Summit again. So look out for the early wait list to get on the wait list. And once again, it will be completely free. There'll be an option to purchase the recordings afterwards, but it will be completely free, and it will be curated by me and by Tim, and it will be all the best learnings on social media in the sector.
Love it. Julia, let's round things out.
Okay.
And choose our. Let's go ahead and Chris, can we choose the? I know I'm speaking to the off producer, but I think we're going to choose our winner or comment of the day.
I feel bad.
Oh no, he's
How are we going to
supposed
choose
to
it?
be here. Hello.
Hi, Chris.
Tim, I've got some breaking news for you. I'm told we can actually pick 6 comments of the day. How about that?
6.
Go
but
for it.
There's so many people that say LinkedIn user. I don't know who these people are.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, can we pick them after? We've picked them live.
We could pick some. Let's pick some live.
Who says LinkedIn user? I know. All right. Do we have to go on the LinkedIn to find them?
Okay. Definitely Dan Drucker.
Yay!
Definitely. If we got 6, we're giving Dan Drucker 1. Okay. Brianna Stoddard.
Yay.
Absolutely.
Now,
I mean,
this is my friend Katie, but I don't know if Katie wants the virtual package. She only commented Beverly, Mass, so I don't think she'll be mad. Katie, if you want to pass, you can talk to me. It's okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to do Brianna. We're going to do Dave.
Yeah.
Okay.
You choose to.
Oh my gosh.
We're not fully over time yet. It's okay to we're good.
We have 3 minutes. I know it does say LinkedIn user, LinkedIn user. Oh my God. I don't know. I can't really see these.
Michael McDonough.
I'm looking at the comments. Well, should we say Sam because he's going to be at they are going to be at the
Sam Grobart? Yeah, Sam's great. Oh, somebody's come on, look at this. Look at
Katie,
Lisa.
You technically work for a nonprofit, but don't worry about it. Okay. What about Beth Saunders?
What about Beth Saunders? Let's do it. That's 4.
Yes, Beth.
Right?
Is this the same Beth that's going to be on my podcast next week? I think so.
Ron Redmond. I'm just gonna take over on these lists.
Good, take over.
Lisa Pagan. She wrote, "I love Nonprofit Nation podcast." Okay. Chris, I'll even kind of take over for you, and I'm gonna pop it right there. Okay. So there you go. And then Ron really wants it. Ron Redmond. You really want
Beth
it
too.
How many did we? I hope we didn't give.
We have 6. We just did 6.
Let's do 7. Let's give one to Beth too.
Okay, we got to give one to Beth, and if not, I have some I can give.
We can do that. Okay, then there we go. Okay, we did it.
You need that button.
I had the button.
No one
this is why you comment, folks. Even if you are like, I have nothing to say. All you got to do is you put Ron Redmond. Nice Ron. Like, there you go. Like that's the comment. I love it.
And that's huge because that's 3 days. Mm-hmm. So there's no way you could watch. I mean, maybe you could watch all of it live, but you're going to get
my understanding that includes like their special shirt. Like
the VIP package is pretty incredible for Community Boost for Unthinkable.
Yeah.
It's got all sorts of swag and every recording possible and all sorts of things in their digital swag bag. So that's a great prize.
Well, Julia, we got a lot more. Sam, we will be, Sam Grobart will be in touch as well. And because you're going to be at Icon. So I think we have an invite coming your way. So
awesome.
Julia, I want to thank you for spending some time with us. I'm going to help wind us down, but
always a pleasure. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Glad we got you out of here on time too. I have a hard stop. Well, awesome. There we go. Love it. Thank you for the folks who are starting to also chime in too. And I want to thank all of you for watching our show. And we have a really, really lovely episode and focus for March coming up as well. So I'm excited for what we have. I'm going to be doing another workshop, a little bit of a 90s theme Going to kind of work in a 90s theme, maybe some Saved by the Bell there. And then we're also going to be joined by Mina Das and Matthew Barta for our March episode of Generosity Experience Live to reflect on the things that we're going to touch on that workshop for online engagement. We're going to really kind of zero in on that. So I want to thank everybody who attended here today, and I'm going to be signing off, but I really want to thank everyone for being part of this month's Generosity Experience Live, and I'll see you out there. And be good, be happy, and you're rocking it. Thank you for being you.
Mark your calendars now for upcoming episodes of Generosity Experience Live. Episode 3 will be streamed on Thursday, March 28th. Episode 4 will be streamed on Thursday, April 25th. Watch past episodes of the show on our Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn channels at Neon One Tech.
Thanks for watching Neon One on YouTube. Subscribe to keep up with all our upcoming videos, and check out another video right here.